Caitlin Clark with 32 points, 9 assists, and 8 rebounds. Here's Clark on her return.
Caitlin Clark didn't just arrive in the WNBA. She changed its direction. From the moment she stepped on the court, arenas filled up. Ticket sales surged. Television ratings jumped to levels the league had not seen in years. Teams that once struggled to draw crowds suddenly played in front of sold-out buildings. Entire road schedules were moved to larger venues just to meet demand. Merchandise flew off shelves. Jerseys disappeared within hours. On the floor, Clark delivered. Deep shooting range, relentless pace, record-setting assist numbers, historic rookie performances that rewrote league benchmarks. Her impact stretched far beyond the scoreboard. Sponsors followed. Media coverage exploded. The league's long-term value climbed into the billions, driven by new fans and national attention. But rapid success brings tension. As Clark became the face of the WNBA, frustration surfaced among some veterans. Hard fouls, extra contact, statements meant to send a message. Then came the moment that ignited the backlash. A reckless shoulder check. A play that crossed the line from physical defense into something else. DeShields learned quickly what happens when emotions meet a spotlight this bright. Because when one player carries a league forward, she stops being just another opponent. She becomes untouchable.
For the moment that made headlines, this right here, the hard foul involving Clark and Kennedy Carter.
And just like that, the WNBA's golden girl was gone. Cut loose. Waived by 3 teams. A career reduced to cardboard boxes and short-term leases. Not because the talent disappeared. Not because the skill faded. But because one moment crossed a line no one is allowed to touch. Caitlin Clark. This is not just basketball drama. This is about money, power, and the quiet rules no one writes down, but everyone follows. The league is growing faster than ever. New television deals, new sponsors, new fans filling arenas across America. And at the center of it all stands one player, carrying the future on her shoulders. Some say the WNBA is finally protecting what it built. Others say it's creating a system where one name matters more than the rest. By the end of this story, you'll understand both sides. And why emotions are spilling far beyond the court. Because this isn't happening in a locker room. It's happening in a rental car. Boxes stacked high. A veteran player sitting alone. This is Caitlin Clark. The arrival that shook the WNBA. And to understand how it led here, you have to understand why DeShields is crying. Surrounded by everything she has left.
Diamond is in a world of pain.
Her turn. She arrived like a comet. Fast. Bright. Impossible to ignore. And the impact is still spreading. By the end of her 2024 rookie season, the league looked different. Attendance surged across the country. Teams broke single-season crowd records. Road games turned into sellouts. Television numbers jumped. Games that once aired quietly were suddenly national events. Viewers who had never watched a WNBA game before were tuning in every week. Clark's name became a brand. Her jersey outsold entire rosters. Merchandise vanished almost as soon as it hit shelves. Sponsors followed the attention, and money followed the sponsors. On the court, she delivered under pressure. Logo-range shots, double-digit assists, rookie performances that put her alongside league legends. In one season, Caitlin Clark didn't just boost interest. She altered the league's economics. She shifted how games were scheduled, how arenas were chosen, and how players were marketed. And when that much momentum centers on one person, the balance of power changes. Because once a player becomes this valuable, protecting the future starts to look a lot like protecting one name.
Caitlin Clark has been named WNBA Rookie of the Year.
At just 22 years old, the point guard out of Iowa did what no rookie had ever done before. She didn't edge past records. She erased them. By season's end, Caitlin Clark had stacked up 769 points and 337 assists. Numbers no first-year player had ever reached. Not even close. She posted 2 triple-doubles. A milestone most guards never touch across an entire career. She made it look routine. Her shooting rewrote the court. Pull-ups from a logo. Shots so deep they forced defenders to rethink how basketball is played. Looks that make NBA players hesitate. And the crowds followed everywhere. Every city. Every arena. The Indiana Fever didn't just see a bump in attendance. They saw an explosion. 643,000 fans in one season. Let that sink in. That number alone put them more than 200,000 fans ahead of the next closest team. Not a rivalry. A gap. 3 different arenas crossed the 20,000 mark just to host her games. Buildings that had never seen crowds like that before. Across the league, attendance jumped 48% in a single season. Sellouts didn't inch up. They tripled. This wasn't a hot streak. This wasn't hype. It was proof that one player didn't just change the scoreboard. She changed the business.
Now the WNBA cashing in on its recent surge in popularity, scoring a media rights deal.
Television ratings moved into territory the WNBA had never reached. Primetime audiences surged by more than 170% in a single year. When the eyes showed up, the money followed. League-wide merchandise sales jumped. Stores restocked and sold out again. Fans weren't just watching. They were buying in. Sponsors who had ignored women's basketball for decades suddenly changed course. Major brands rushed to attach their names to the moment. Shoe contracts appeared overnight. National beverage campaigns rolled out. Promotional spots that once showed generic highlights now focused on one face. One jersey. One name. Inside television networks, conversations shifted fast. Executives began floating numbers that used to sound impossible. A future media deal worth 9 figures per year. Talk that would have been laughed out of the room just 3 years earlier. Behind closed doors, league insiders started using blunt language. Not hype. Not symbolism. They called Caitlin Clark the cash engine. The golden goose. The player who turned attention into revenue. And once a league finds something that valuable, everything changes around it.
Clark for the lead.
She became the economic engine that finally made the WNBA's long-promised profitability look real. Not theoretical. Not hopeful. Achievable. She wasn't just a Rookie of the Year contender. She was the solution to a problem the league had been wrestling with since 1996. Visibility. Revenue. Stability. But there's a cost to being that important. When one player carries the future, every shadow she casts falls on someone else. And in those shadows, where cameras don't linger and endorsement deals never arrive, something began to grow. Resentment. Frustration. Jealousy. For some players, the spotlight wasn't just bright. It was blinding. And when they couldn't share it, they chose another way to be felt. The hard fouls started early. Before Caitlin Clark had even played 20 professional games. Extra contact. Late bumps. Messages delivered without words. Then came the hit that changed everything. June 1st, 2024. Sold out arena. National television. Indiana Fever versus Chicago Sky. A matchup that mattered more for ratings than for the standings. The play itself was ordinary. Clark released a pass and turned to get back on defense. Her eyes followed the ball up the court. She never saw it coming. Chicago guard Chindi Carter didn't go for the ball. She didn't contest a shot. She didn't fight through a screen. She lowered her shoulder and drove straight into Clark's back. Full force. A blindside hit. The kind of impact you expect in a football highlight. Not a basketball game. The arena gasped. The cameras caught everything. And in that moment, the message was clear. This wasn't about defense. This was about presence. Because when a league builds its future around one player, not everyone is willing to stand quietly in the background.
A day after the WNBA upgraded a foul by Kennedy Carter on Caitlin Clark to a flagrant 1, Carter saying she has no regrets.
Not a basketball play. Clark hit the hardwood hard. The whistle blew. Referees huddled. The replay rolled. After reviewing the footage, they made a call. A flagrant foul. Not a flagrant 2, no ejection. Just a flagrant 1. A slap on the wrist. A stern warning. No real consequences. Within hours, the video exploded online. Every major sports account shared the clip. Fans and analysts alike dissected it frame by frame. Carter's shoulder was low. Her trajectory was deliberate. And there was no play on the ball. This wasn't hard defense. This was targeting. Then Carter reacted. Instead of apologizing, she doubled down on social media. Defended the hit. Claimed it was basketball. The backlash was immediate. And just like that, a single play became the spark that would ignite a firestorm across the league.
I think I got hit in the head the play before, and it was just like one of those things that was in the heat of the moment. You know, I don't know Caitlin. I don't know her from anywhere.
Side-eye memes. Cryptic posts. Social media explosions that screamed no regrets louder than any press conference ever could. The basketball world watched. Fans waited. Analysts debated. Consequences? They never came. Not officially. Carter finished the game. No suspension. No meaningful fine. Just the standard league statement about reviewing plays and protecting players. Boilerplate words meant to calm the storm. And then the world moved on to the next news cycle. But something had changed. The hit on Clark wasn't hidden. It wasn't accidental. It was too public, too deliberate, and the ripples of that single moment were only beginning to spread.
This physical moment involving the WNBA's most high-profile rookie raising questions.
Two obviously targeting the league's most valuable asset. And while the official punishment was minimal, the real consequences were quietly stacking up. By training camp 2025, Kennedy Carter's phone had stopped ringing. Teams in desperate need of guards weren't calling. Her agent reported complete silence from front offices that should have been interested. She began appearing in overseas league discussions and YouTube vlogs, the kind of content players turn to when professional options vanish. Social media analysts and player marketability experts started using one word to describe her situation. Radioactive. Too risky to sign. The flagrant one hadn't ended her career, but its target, that might have ended hers. And Kennedy Carter was just the opening act. Then came Diamond DeShields' fatal mistake. If Carter's hit was the warning shot, DeShields ignored it completely. She wasn't a fringe roster player with nothing to lose. Diamond DeShields was a legitimate star, one of the league's brightest names, and she stepped onto the court ready to make statement.
Floor. DeShields pokes it away. Diamond DeShields in for another bunny.
Diamond DeShields wasn't just any player. A third overall pick in 2018. WNBA champion with the Chicago Sky in 2021. Olympic experience. Endorsement deals. A resume that should have guaranteed her career for as long as she wanted to play. She was the old guard, the established veteran, the one who had worked long before Caitlin Clark became a household name. And late in a lopsided 2024 game, she made a decision that would cost her everything. Clark was cutting through the lane, moving without the ball. DeShields sized her up. What happened next was captured from every angle. DeShields lowered her shoulder. She barreled into Clark. Clean off the hardwood. No play on the ball. No defensive purpose. Just deliberate, excessive contact. The kind of hit that makes viewers wince even through a screen. Slow-motion replays made it worse. You could see DeShields load up, adjust her trajectory, maximize impact. Clark's body crumpled under the force. And then came the theatrical gesture. DeShields offered a hand to help Clark up. And oops, that fooled no one. The referees called a flagrant one. No ejection, no suspension, no fine. Clark got up, drained her free throws, and the game went on. But this time, the aftermath was different. Replay reels didn't fade after a few hours. They dominated coverage for days. Podcasts that normally discuss playoff brackets dedicated entire episodes to the hit. Analysts used words like calculated, premeditated, assault. And sponsors began to fidget. The companies that had invested millions in the WNBA's golden era watched their investment get hammered on national television while referees shrugged. If the league couldn't protect its most marketable player, what exactly were they paying for? The calls to league offices increased. The pressure mounted. And behind closed doors, something cracked. Diamond DeShields' fall began. Dominoes started toppling fast. Chicago let her walk at the end of the season. Her legacy, once secure, unraveled in real time. All because she ignored the warning shot and challenged the face of a league.
Diamond DeShields wants to make sure every young kid has a chance to see more and be more.
No goodbye post on social media. No thank you graphic. No press conference honoring her championship contributions. Just silence. A silence louder than any statement could ever be. The New York Liberty, desperate for veteran depth, signed her on a low-risk flyer. Then they benched her. Then they cut her. Her time in New York was measured in weeks, not months. Whatever the Liberty saw in practice, or in the locker room, wasn't enough to outweigh the baggage she carried. Connecticut tried next. The Sun needed guard depth. DeShields needed a chance to rebuild her reputation. For a brief moment, it seemed like a redemption arc might exist. Then came May 15th, 2025. 2 days before opening night. The Connecticut Sun issued a press release that was brutal in its brevity. 27 words. No injury report. No coach quote. No context. Just a blunt announcement. Diamond DeShields had been waived. The timing was devastating. 2 days before the season. Too late to find another roster spot. Too public to hide. This wasn't a basketball decision. This was a message. Hours later, DeShields appeared on Instagram. sitting in a rental car, boxes piled in the back seat, her belongings scattered across whatever space she could find. She fought back tears, trying to explain what had happened, trying to make sense of a career that had unraveled in months. And just like that, a star who once seemed untouchable was gone. Her fall had become a warning and a cautionary tale for anyone daring to challenge the league's new golden girl.